Welcome to this exploration of the 33 Strategies of War by Robert Greene, a book that dives deep into the timeless principles of strategy, conflict, and human nature. Whether you're navigating personal challenges, managing relationships, leading a team, or competing in a high-stakes career, this book serves as a powerful guide to mastering the art of strategic thinking. Robert Greene draws inspiration from history's greatest leaders, generals, and thinkers, blending their lessons with psychological insights to provide actionable strategies for overcoming obstacles and achieving your goals. But this isn't just about war in the traditional sense these strategies apply to everyday life. It's about becoming smarter, more decisive, and more resilient in the face of conflict and uncertainty. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by challenges, unsure of how to respond to adversity, or curious about how to turn difficult situations into opportunities, the 33 Strategies of War has something valuable to offer. So, whether you're here for self-improvement, leadership tips, or just love a great story, stick around. You're in for a journey that will change how you think about strategy and life itself. Part 1 of the 33 Strategies of War by Robert Greene, titled Self-Directed Warfare, delves into the idea that before you can face external battles, you must first master the war within yourself. This section is all about transforming your mindset, conquering your inner weaknesses, and cultivating the discipline and clarity necessary to thrive in the conflicts that life inevitably throws your way. Greene draws upon history, philosophy, and psychology to illustrate that the greatest battles often take place within our own minds. At its core, self-directed warfare begins with understanding the inherent chaos of life. Greene emphasizes that life is not a tranquil journey, but a battlefield rife with challenges, rivalries, and struggles. The first step toward mastery is acknowledging this reality. Many people drift through life, hoping to avoid conflict, clinging to the illusion of perpetual peace. But the truth is, conflict is unavoidable, whether it comes from external forces or the doubts, fears, and emotional turbulence within us. The sooner we embrace this, the more prepared we'll be to navigate the battlefield of life. One of the central ideas in this section is the need to declare war on your enemies, yes, but also on your own weaknesses. Greene argues that true power and focus come from having a clear sense of opposition. This doesn't mean seeking out unnecessary fights or becoming paranoid, but rather identifying those forces, external or internal, that stand in the way of your goals. Whether it's a toxic relationship, outdated thinking patterns, or self-doubt, you must call these obstacles by their true name and face them head-on. Declaring war sharpens your focus and gives you purpose, much like the clarity that soldiers feel when faced with an enemy on the battlefield. It's about channeling the energy of conflict into growth and action rather than being paralyzed by fear or indecision. Greene also explores the importance of staying present and adaptable. In the chaos of life, many people succumb to the past, clinging to old methods, nursing grudges, or fearing failure based on past experiences. But holding on to the past can weigh you down like an anchor. Greene insists that you must wage a kind of guerrilla war on your own mind, challenging habitual ways of thinking and embracing a fluid, adaptable approach to life. This means letting go of rigid expectations and being willing to pivot when circumstances demand it. The battlefield of life is constantly shifting, and the most successful warriors are those who can move with the chaos rather than being crushed by it. Another key lesson is the necessity of maintaining composure, no matter how turbulent the situation. Greene refers to this as cultivating presence of mind. In moments of crisis, when emotions like fear or anger threaten to overwhelm you, it's vital to remain calm and clear-headed. A leader who panics under pressure loses the respect of their followers and the ability to make rational decisions. Greene suggests that you train your mind to endure adversity by exposing yourself to challenging situations. By practicing detachment and learning to control your emotional responses, you become a fortress of resolve, impervious to the storms around you. This emotional balance is not just a survival skill, it's a weapon that gives you a decisive edge in any conflict. Perhaps one of the most powerful ideas in this section is the concept of the death ground strategy. This is the idea that sometimes the only way to unlock your full potential is to put yourself in a position where there is no way out but forward. Greene recounts historical examples of armies burning their own ships or retreating to a point where escape was impossible, forcing soldiers to fight with a desperation and determination they wouldn't have found otherwise. In life, we often hold back because we think we have time, resources, or alternative options to fall back on. But comfort breeds complacency. By placing yourself on metaphorical death ground, whether it's committing fully to a project, severing ties with a harmful past, or taking a bold leap into the unknown, you tap into a deeper reservoir of strength and creativity. It's in these moments of urgency that you discover what you're truly capable of. Self-directed warfare is ultimately about becoming the master of your own mind. Greene challenges you to cultivate discipline and to view every difficulty as an opportunity to grow stronger. He draws a sharp line between those who are reactive, driven by their emotions, doubts, and fears, and those who are proactive, shaping their own destinies through strategic thinking and deliberate action. The difference, he argues, is not talent or luck but mindset. The strategic warrior understands that the mind is both the battlefield and the most powerful weapon you have. If you can control your thoughts, channel your emotions, and maintain clarity in the midst of chaos, there is little that can stand in your way. Greene's lessons in Part 1 are intensely practical and deeply philosophical. He doesn't just tell you to act boldly or think clearly, he shows you how, drawing from historical figures like Xenophon and Margaret Thatcher, who overcame enormous odds by mastering their inner struggles. Their examples illuminate the universal truth that preparation, self-discipline, and mental toughness are the keys to success in any arena. The actionable takeaways are clear. First, confront your inner enemies with the same focus and determination you would apply to an external rival. Second, let go of the past and embrace a fluid, adaptable mindset. Third, cultivate emotional resilience and train yourself to remain calm under pressure. And finally, don't be afraid to put yourself on death ground, where you're forced to rise to the occasion. These are not abstract principles, they are strategies you can practice daily. Whether you're navigating a difficult relationship, pursuing a career goal, or simply trying to become a better version of yourself. In the end, self-directed warfare is not about becoming ruthless or combative. It's about clarity, purpose, and strength. It's about learning to thrive in a world of conflict without losing your sense of self. Greene's message is both sobering and empowering. The world is a battlefield, but with the right mindset, you can emerge not just victorious, but transformed. Part 2 of the 33 Strategies of War by Robert Greene, titled Organizational Team Warfare, shifts the focus from mastering yourself to mastering the art of leading others. In any significant endeavor, you cannot succeed alone. You need the support of a team or group, whether it's a business organization, a sports team, or even a small group of collaborators. Yet working with others presents its own set of challenges: conflicting agendas, groupthink, and the difficulty of maintaining morale under pressure. This part of the book lays out strategies to organize, motivate, and lead a cohesive team capable of achieving great things. At the heart of organizational warfare is the idea that a leader must provide clear direction while simultaneously empowering others to act. Greene emphasizes the importance of avoiding the pitfalls of groupthink, which is the tendency of groups to conform to the dominant opinion, often at the expense of critical thinking and creativity. When everyone agrees too easily, the group's decisions become shallow and ineffective. A good leader prevents this by encouraging independent thought while maintaining ultimate control. You must create an environment where dissenting voices are not only tolerated but valued, as they can help identify weaknesses and uncover better solutions. Yet this must be done with finesse. Too much discord, and the group fractures. Too much consensus, and it stagnates. One of Greene's key lessons is that effective leaders don't micromanage. Instead, they segment their forces, delegating responsibilities to smaller, autonomous units. This controlled chaos approach allows for flexibility and adaptability, enabling each segment to respond quickly to changing circumstances. Greene compares this to a guerrilla army. Smaller, more mobile groups can outmaneuver a larger, slower opponent. The leader's role is to define the overarching mission and ensure that each unit understands their part in the larger strategy. This approach fosters creativity and initiative within the group while keeping everyone aligned toward a common goal. Leadership, however, is not just about structure and delegation, it's also about inspiration. Greene underscores the importance of transforming your mission into a cause, something that people can believe in and rally around. This is the morale strategy. When people feel that they are fighting for something greater than themselves, their energy and commitment multiply. Leaders who can frame their objectives as a crusade of fight against a common enemy or for a higher ideal create a sense of unity and purpose that keeps the group motivated even in the face of adversity. Yet morale is fragile, and a leader must be vigilant to maintain it. Greene highlights the power of symbols, rituals, and narratives in keeping people inspired. A flag, a slogan, or a shared story can reinforce the group's identity and remind them of what they are fighting for. These symbolic gestures might seem trivial, but they tap into deep psychological needs for belonging and meaning. A group that feels connected to a larger purpose will endure hardships that might otherwise break them. While motivation is essential, Greene warns against over-reliance on emotional appeals. Leaders must balance inspiration with practical discipline. This means setting clear expectations, holding people accountable, and maintaining a sense of order. People thrive in environments where they know the rules and understand the consequences of failing to meet them. Discipline should not be harsh or arbitrary but consistent and fair, ensuring that everyone feels they are part of a well-run operation. One of the most challenging aspects of organizational warfare is dealing with conflict within the group. Greene acknowledges that no team is immune to internal rivalries and power struggles. As a leader, you must be proactive in managing these dynamics. This might mean playing the role of mediator, ensuring that disagreements don't escalate into destructive conflicts. At times, it may also mean removing individuals whose agendas threaten the group's cohesion. Greene advises leaders to be ruthless in protecting the integrity of the team. A single disruptive personality can sabotage an entire operation. Another critical insight is the importance of adaptability. Just as a general must adjust their strategy based on the enemy's movements, a leader must remain flexible in the face of changing circumstances. This requires staying attuned to the group's dynamics and being willing to pivot when necessary. A rigid plan can become a liability if it fails to account for unforeseen challenges. Great leaders are like chess players who think several moves ahead, anticipating potential obstacles and preparing contingencies. Ultimately, Part 2 teaches that the essence of organizational warfare lies in finding the right balance between control and autonomy, inspiration and discipline, vision and pragmatism. A leader must be both a strategist and a unifier, someone who can guide their team toward a common goal while empowering individuals to contribute their unique strengths. This requires a deep understanding of human nature, an ability to read the group's mood, and the wisdom to know when to push and when to pull back. The actionable takeaways from this section are clear. First, encourage independent thinking within your group, but maintain ultimate control over the direction of the mission. Second, divide your forces into smaller units, allowing for flexibility and responsiveness. Third, transform your mission into a cause, using symbols and stories to inspire loyalty and commitment. Fourth, balance emotional motivation with practical discipline, creating an environment where people feel both inspired and accountable. Finally, remain adaptable, adjusting your strategy as the situation evolves and keeping your team aligned with the larger vision. Organizational warfare is about more than just achieving results. It's about creating a culture of excellence and unity that sustains itself over time. By mastering these strategies, you can lead your team to victory, not just in battles but in the larger war for success and fulfillment. As Greene reminds us, leadership is both an art and a science, requiring equal measures of intellect, intuition, and emotional intelligence. Whether you're leading an army, a business, or a small group of collaborators, these lessons will serve you well. Part 3 of the 33 Strategies of War by Robert Greene, titled Defensive Warfare, shifts the focus to the art of protection, resilience, and counteraction. While offensive strategies often steal the spotlight, Greene emphasizes that defense is an equally powerful tool in warfare and life. This section is about understanding when to fight, when to step back, and how to neutralize threats while conserving your resources. Defensive warfare is not about weakness or retreat. It's about being strategic, patient, and calculating, so you can emerge stronger and more prepared for the battles that truly matter. One of the key lessons from this part is that you must be selective about the battles you fight. In life, energy, time, and resources are finite, and trying to confront every challenge head-on can leave you depleted and vulnerable. Greene urges you to weigh the costs of each conflict carefully, asking yourself whether a fight is worth engaging in at all. This is the essence of what he calls the perfect economy strategy, conserving your energy for the battles that truly matter while avoiding the ones that don't. Often, the wisest course of action is to delay, deflect, or avoid conflict altogether, allowing you to regroup and strike at the right time. Greene also emphasizes the importance of turning the tables on your opponents by mastering the art of the counterattack. He challenges the common assumption that striking first is always the best move. In reality, letting the other side make the first move can give you valuable insight into their strategy and weaknesses. By holding back and observing, you gain the upper hand. Counterattacking at the right moment allows you to exploit your enemy's overconfidence, rashness, or missteps, often delivering a more decisive blow than an initial attack would. The patience to wait and the wisdom to act only when the moment is ripe are hallmarks of a master strategist. Another critical concept in defensive warfare is deterrence. Greene explains that the best way to prevent aggression is to cultivate a reputation for being unpredictable, unyielding, or even slightly dangerous. When others view you as someone who is not worth provoking, they are less likely to challenge you in the first place. This doesn't mean being overtly aggressive or threatening, but rather creating an aura of uncertainty around how far you're willing to go to protect yourself. When people are unsure of the cost of crossing you, they often decide it's not worth the risk. Greene introduces the idea of trading space for time, a concept that can be particularly valuable in high-stakes situations. Sometimes, retreating or yielding ground is not a sign of weakness but a calculated move to buy yourself time to regroup, gather resources, and plan your next step. This strategy is rooted in the understanding that the long game matters more than short-term victories. Greene recounts historical examples where strategic retreats led to eventual triumph, as they allowed the defenders to outlast their opponents or lure them into traps. In life, this translates to knowing when to take a step back to gain perspective and conserve your energy for the right opportunity. A recurring theme in this section is the power of restraint. Greene emphasizes that defensive warfare is not about reacting impulsively or fighting every perceived threat. It's about maintaining control over your emotions and actions. Fear, anger, and pride are dangerous in defensive situations because they cloud judgment and lead to rash decisions. A successful defender is one who can stay calm under pressure, assess threats objectively, and respond in a way that maximizes their long-term advantage. Greene also stresses the importance of creating a defensive posture that minimizes vulnerabilities. Just as a fortress has thick walls and few entry points, you must fortify yourself whether emotionally, financially, or strategically to withstand potential attacks. This means being proactive in identifying and addressing weaknesses before others can exploit them. It also means staying vigilant and prepared, always ready to pivot when new threats emerge. A strong defense, Greene reminds us, is not static but dynamic, adapting to the shifting landscape of conflict. Defensive warfare is also about knowing how to neutralize threats without direct confrontation. Greene explores the idea of non-engagement using silence, indifference, or subtle maneuvers to diffuse aggression before it escalates. Sometimes, doing nothing is the most powerful move, as it denies your opponent the opportunity to provoke you or gain an advantage. By refusing to engage on their terms, you force them to expend energy while you remain unaffected. This strategy can be particularly effective in personal or professional relationships, where disengagement can signal strength and confidence. The actionable lessons from this part are clear. First, choose your battles wisely, focusing only on those that truly matter and avoiding unnecessary conflicts. Second, master the art of the counterattack, letting your opponents reveal their hand before striking decisively. Third, cultivate a reputation for being formidable and unpredictable, deterring potential aggressors. Fourth, embrace the concept of trading space for time, knowing when to retreat to gain the upper hand later. Fifth, fortify yourself by addressing vulnerabilities and maintaining emotional discipline. And finally, learn to neutralize threats through non-engagement, conserving your energy and resources for the conflicts that truly count. Part 3 of the 33 Strategies of War teaches that defensive warfare is not about passivity or avoidance, it's about strategic action, calculated restraint, and the ability to outlast and outthink your opponents. It's a reminder that in life, as in war, the strongest positions are not always the most aggressive ones. By mastering the art of defense, you can protect what matters most, conserve your energy, and position yourself for victory in the battles that truly matter. Greene's insights are not just lessons in survival, they are lessons in resilience, patience, and the power of strategic thinking. Whether in business, relationships, or personal growth, these strategies provide a framework for navigating challenges with clarity and confidence. Part 4 of the 33 Strategies of War by Robert Greene, titled Offensive Warfare, shifts the spotlight to taking the initiative, asserting control, and using bold strategies to gain the upper hand. While defensive warfare focuses on resilience and patience, offensive warfare is about action, decisiveness, and striking at the heart of the opposition. It's a call to stop waiting for opportunities to come your way and instead create your own victories through calculated, fearless moves. At the heart of offensive warfare is the principle of playing the long game. Greene highlights the importance of grand strategy, a mindset that goes beyond immediate wins and focuses on achieving ultimate goals. Too often, people get caught up in the small battles and lose sight of the larger war. Greene advises keeping your eye on the endgame, resisting the temptation to celebrate minor victories or to get sidetracked by short-term setbacks. This requires a level of discipline and foresight, seeing how today's actions ripple into tomorrow's outcomes. A successful offensive strategy is one that builds momentum toward a greater purpose. A critical element of offensive warfare is understanding your enemy. Greene emphasizes that you're not just fighting against systems or organizations, you're facing individuals with minds, emotions, and vulnerabilities. To effectively outmaneuver them, you must train yourself to see beyond the surface. Study their behavior, motivations, and weaknesses. Learn what they fear, what drives them, and what they value most. Armed with this knowledge, you can anticipate their moves, manipulate their perceptions, and attack where they are most vulnerable. This is the essence of psychological warfare, winning the battle in your opponent's mind before you ever take action. Speed and surprise are powerful weapons in offensive warfare. Greene draws on historical examples to demonstrate how decisive, rapid actions can leave opponents unbalanced and unable to respond effectively. In a world where hesitation is common, striking quickly and unexpectedly gives you a decisive edge. This doesn't mean acting recklessly. It means moving with confidence and precision when the moment is right. Bold, sudden moves disrupt the plans of others and force them into reactive positions, where they're more likely to make mistakes. Control is another cornerstone of offensive warfare. Greene explains that in any conflict, people will try to dominate the situation by imposing their rules and dynamics. To win, you must flip the script and take control of the narrative. This means defining the terms of engagement, steering the direction of the battle, and shaping the perceptions of those involved. Instead of reacting to others, you force them to react to you. By controlling the dynamics of a situation, you maintain the upper hand and limit your opponent's options. One of the most powerful offensive strategies is targeting the center of gravity, a concept Greene borrows from military theory. Every enemy, whether an individual, organization, or challenge, has a source of strength that holds everything together. This might be a key leader, a critical resource, or a deeply held belief. By identifying and attacking this center of gravity, you can dismantle your opponent's entire position with minimal effort. It's about working smarter, not harder, finding the point where your actions will have the greatest impact. Greene also emphasizes the value of dividing and conquering. When faced with a formidable opponent, breaking them into smaller, more manageable parts can be the key to victory. This might involve sowing discord among allies, isolating key players, or attacking different elements of the opposition in succession. By fragmenting your enemy's power base, you make them easier to defeat while maintaining your own strength. In offensive warfare, deception is a vital tool. Greene explains that direct, frontal attacks often stiffen your opponent's resistance and make your task harder. Instead, he advocates for turning strategies, drawing your opponent's attention to one front while attacking from another. This could mean baiting them into overextending themselves or lulling them into a false sense of security before striking. Deception creates confusion and forces your opponents to waste resources on threats that don't exist, leaving them vulnerable to your real plans. Another powerful offensive strategy is envelopment, the idea of applying relentless pressure from multiple angles until your opponent has no choice but to capitulate. This involves cutting off their options, isolating them from potential allies, and attacking their vulnerabilities from all sides. Envelopment isn't just about physical pressure. It's psychological too. When opponents feel surrounded and overwhelmed, their resolve weakens, and victory becomes inevitable. A crucial lesson from this part is the importance of timing. Offensive warfare is not about constant aggression but knowing when to act. Greene advises waiting for the moment when your opponent is weakest or most distracted before launching your attack. This requires patience, observation, and a keen sense of opportunity. Striking too early can backfire, but waiting too long can mean missing your chance. Mastering the art of timing is essential for success. Finally, Greene underscores the need to know how to end things. In offensive warfare, it's not enough to win, you must win decisively, leaving no room for future retaliation or lingering threats. This means delivering a final blow that ends the conflict on your terms. A messy or incomplete victory can lead to prolonged struggles, while a clean, strategic ending solidifies your dominance and ensures lasting peace. The actionable takeaways from this section are clear and powerful. First, always keep the bigger picture in mind. Don't lose sight of your ultimate goals for the sake of short-term wins. Second, study your opponents deeply to understand their vulnerabilities and motivations. Third, act with speed and decisiveness when the time is right, using bold moves to disrupt your opponent's plans. Fourth, seize control of the narrative and define the terms of engagement. Fifth, focus your energy on attacking the center of gravity to maximize your impact. Sixth, use deception and misdirection to confuse and weaken your opponents. Seventh, apply relentless pressure from multiple angles to overwhelm and enclose them. Finally, end conflicts decisively to ensure long-term success. Part 4 of the 33 Strategies of War is a call to action, a reminder that in life, waiting passively for opportunities is not enough. Offensive warfare is about creating momentum, seizing control, and shaping your destiny with bold, calculated moves. Greene's lessons are not just for battlefields, they apply to business, relationships, and personal ambitions. By mastering the art of offensive warfare, you can take charge of your life, overcome obstacles, and achieve victories that resonate far beyond the moment. The path forward is yours to carve decisively, strategically, and with unwavering confidence. Part 5 of the 33 Strategies of War by Robert Greene, titled Unconventional, Dirty Warfare, dives into the realm of cunning, subversion, and unorthodox methods of achieving victory. While the previous parts focused on clear, direct strategies, this section is about embracing the unpredictable, the deceptive, and the unconventional. Dirty warfare isn't about abandoning ethics. It's about understanding that in a world filled with hidden agendas, subtle manipulation, and unexpected threats, you must be prepared to think creatively and act strategically to outwit your opponents. Unconventional warfare begins with the idea that perception is everything. Greene emphasizes that in any conflict, what people think is happening is often more important than what is actually happening. This gives rise to strategies that manipulate perception to create confusion, fear, or complacency in your opponents. One such strategy is to weave a seamless blend of fact and fiction, controlling the narrative to your advantage. By feeding your enemies a mixture of truth and lies, you can lead them to make decisions based on false assumptions. When your opponents are operating in an illusion of your making, they become vulnerable to your real intentions. Another core concept in unconventional warfare is doing the unexpected. Greene explains that people rely on patterns and predictability to feel secure. Breaking these expectations can create shock and confusion, throwing your opponents off balance. He calls this the ordinary extraordinary strategy, where you lull your enemies into complacency with predictable behavior before surprising them with something they didn't see coming. This element of surprise magnifies the psychological impact of your actions and gives you a significant advantage. A powerful takeaway from this part is the importance of moral positioning. Greene reminds us that in a conflict, appearing righteous or virtuous can be a potent weapon. The moral high ground strategy involves framing your cause as just and your enemies as corrupt or immoral. By controlling the moral narrative, you can rally support, isolate your opponents, and weaken their resolve. However, Greene also warns that when faced with a clever enemy who tries to undermine your morality, you must fight fire with fire, exposing their hypocrisy while maintaining your own position. Greene also introduces the idea of denying your enemies a clear target. This strategy of the void is about being elusive and hard to pin down, frustrating your opponents and forcing them to waste energy on fruitless pursuits. By avoiding direct confrontation and delivering subtle, damaging blows from unexpected angles, you maintain control while your opponents flounder. This approach is particularly useful when dealing with stronger or more aggressive foes, as it turns their strengths into liabilities. Building alliances while furthering your own agenda is another hallmark of unconventional warfare. Greene emphasizes the power of collaboration, but with a twist. Alliances should be used to compensate for your weaknesses and to offload risk onto others. At the same time, you should work to sow discord among your opponent's alliances, isolating them and weakening their position. The key is to appear cooperative while subtly advancing your own interests, a tactic Greene calls the alliance strategy. One of the more insidious yet highly effective strategies in this section is giving your rivals enough rope to hang themselves. Greene explains that life's greatest dangers often come not from external enemies, but from internal rivals, those who appear to be on your side, but secretly work against you. By instilling doubts and insecurities in such rivals, you can provoke them into overreaching or self-destructive behavior. In doing so, you maintain a clean reputation while allowing your enemies to defeat themselves. The fait accompli strategy is another unconventional approach that involves taking small, incremental actions that, when combined over time, result in significant gains. By making gradual moves that are too minor to provoke opposition, you can achieve your goals before anyone realizes what's happening. This strategy plays on people's tendency to overlook small changes, allowing you to accumulate power or resources without drawing attention to yourself. Greene also explores the idea of infiltrating your opponent's ranks and destroying them from within. By working subtly and patiently, you can undermine their foundations, sow mistrust, and destabilize their operations without ever exposing yourself to direct attack. This inner-front strategy is about using time and subtlety to your advantage, striking at the heart of your enemy's power without them even realizing it. Another unconventional strategy is passive aggression. Greene argues that in a world where overt hostility can backfire, the most effective form of aggression is often hidden behind a compliant or friendly exterior. By appearing to go along with others' plans while subtly steering them in your favor, you can dominate situations without ever appearing combative. This requires emotional discipline, patience, and a talent for subtle manipulation. Finally, Greene concludes this part with the chain reaction strategy, which involves creating chaos and uncertainty through acts that ripple outward, causing panic and overreaction in your opponents. The goal here is not to win a direct battle but to destabilize the enemy, forcing them into mistakes and rash decisions that ultimately lead to their downfall. This strategy is about leveraging the psychological impact of your actions to create a domino effect that works in your favor. The actionable lessons from this part of the book are both practical and thought-provoking. First, master the art of manipulating perception by blending fact and fiction to create illusions that work in your favor. Second, embrace unpredictability to disrupt your opponent's expectations and gain the upper hand. Third, position yourself as morally superior while exposing your enemy's flaws to rally support and weaken their alliances. Fourth, avoid being a direct target by staying elusive and delivering subtle but effective blows. Fifth, use alliances strategically to strengthen your position while sowing discord among your rivals. Sixth, allow your enemies to defeat themselves by subtly provoking overreach or self-destruction. Seventh, make incremental gains that go unnoticed until they are too significant to challenge. Eighth, infiltrate your opponent's ranks to destabilize them from within. Ninth, practice passive aggression to dominate situations without confrontation. And finally, leverage chaos and uncertainty to create a chain reaction of mistakes and missteps in your opponents. Part 5 of the 33 Strategies of War is a masterclass in creative thinking and adaptability. It challenges conventional notions of conflict by demonstrating that cunning, patience, and subtlety often achieve more than brute force. Greene's unconventional strategies remind us that in life, as in war, success often comes to those who can think outside the box, anticipate their opponent's moves, and strike in ways they never see coming. Whether in business, relationships, or personal ambitions, these lessons provide a powerful toolkit for navigating the complexities of a competitive world. In the 33 Strategies of War, Robert Greene provides a roadmap for thriving in a world filled with challenges, competition, and conflict. From mastering your inner battles to leading others, defending against threats, taking bold action, and thinking unconventionally, the book reminds us that life is a battlefield, but one we can conquer with the right mindset and tools. The core message is clear. Success in life isn't just about brute force, it's about strategy. Whether you're building a career, navigating relationships, or pursuing personal goals, the lessons in this book help you stay focused, adaptable, and one step ahead. If this resonated with you, let us know in the comments. What's your favorite strategy? What challenges are you facing where these lessons could apply? Don't forget to like this video if you found it valuable, and subscribe for more deep dives into transformative books and ideas. And if you want to stay inspired, hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Let's keep the conversation going. Your next victory starts here.